All right, good evening. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gary Blevins. Welcome back to Board Game Nation. We have been off for a couple of weeks. We are excited to have everybody back. We have a ton of stuff to get through today. We're really excited about everything that is going on. Man, we had a good break. We've had a good break. We had a nice vacation. We went out east. We went to Vegas and the Grand Canyon and Albuquerque and Santa Fe and lots of beautiful places and fun along the way. But we have some big announcements today. We've got some fun new giveaways from our friends at Historical Board Gaming, which is very cool. So we're going to be going through those here in just a few minutes. We're going to do a quick recap. If you have not been here before, we're going to do a recap of the game and kind of bring people up to speed. So if you've never been here before, we're going to recap the game so far. So it'll give everybody a chance to do that. Charles is here. Robin, Mindblown is here. Dave, is sure how east of you? Vegas is, yes, did I say east? We went west. I live in Memphis, so Vegas is west of here. Right. All right, awesome. So we are going to take a quick break. Tell us what you did during the break. Let us know in the comments what you guys did while we were away. I understand some people did a little research on my personal history, which is perfectly fine. I've got nothing to hide. Happy about, proud of my background and the career choices I've made over the years. So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. But like I said, lots of fun things to get through today. We're going to put everybody on hold, and we will be back in just a few minutes. We'll bring Doug in and see what's going to happen on US3. This is a big one, friends. So we will see what happens next. Back in just a minute. Doug has said in the chat that there was no dancing involved on his vacation. How can you have a vacation without dancing? That seems impossible. I don't know how you do that. Let's bring him on and ask him. Let's see how this goes. Oh, and we can see that there's still a little bit of a delay between my speaking and the video. I've spoken with Ecamm, who runs the software that I use, and they tell me that it's a YouTube problem. I don't know. We're going to work through it. The good news is usually it goes away after a couple minutes. So yes, Dave, the audio is off and is not synced, but we are hopefully, normally what happens is, let's see if it works this time. We'll open that up, open up this, and see if this helps. Sometimes this seems to help. Oh, there we go. That's better. All right. We'll try that later. All right, let's bring in Doug. Everybody say hi, Doug. Let's see, Doug. Hey, Doug.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
Good to be
Welcome
here.
back.
Yeah. There we go.
The clock and
Welcome
Doug is
back.
in
It's
the
good to
house.
be back, Gary. It was a nice break, but I'm ready to get going again.
Man, it's been an interesting break. So we had some fun. You went to the Keys?
Yeah. First time to
Okay.
the Florida Keys. Yeah. So it was good. There's not a lot of like beaches down there, which you just expect it to be like all beach, but it's like not a lot of beaches. So,
Yes,
but it
I
was a lot of
remember being
fun.
surprised the same way. I went down to Key
hmm
West, I don't know, sometime in the 2000s, and almost all the beaches are like pebble beaches. Like they're not like
Yeah.
sandy beaches.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the water is amazing. Like if you
hmm
go out to go snorkeling or jet skiing or whatever, like man, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, we went deep sea fishing. That was a lot of fun. Caught some mahi and had a place cook it for us. So that was really good. It's fun. My
Wow,
son landed the mahi, so it was a good time.
excellent. That's always fun. Yeah, I've been meaning to get back to the Keys. I really did enjoy it down there. It's its own kind of planet. The Conch Republic, if I remember correctly, is what Key West is called.
Yeah, so it's no secret that I'm a bit of a nerd, right? I play Axis and Allies, so whenever we go on vacation, we do like my kids are young enough. We do the license plate game. I like at least pretend it's for them, but I like it myself.
Yeah, sure.
So just trying to see the license plate for every state. And I figured on the Keys we might hit 30, and we got either 45 or 46 license plates. Saw 2 Hawaii license plates while there.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the big one. That's the hard
yeah,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
that
So
one in
that was fun.
Alaska. But Alaska's
Yeah,
easier to
we didn't
get
get
to.
Alaska.
Yeah. Oh, that was what you
Yeah,
were missing. That one. Yeah.
yeah.
Rhode Island is the other
Wyoming.
hard one.
Yeah, we
I
saw
don't think I've
several
ever
Rhode
seen.
Island.
Did you see Rhode Island? Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
You did.
yeah.
You drove down from Louisville.
No, we flew into Miami and then
Okay.
rented a
And
car and
still got
drove.
all those plates. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And most of that wasn't even like in Miami. It was like down the highway in the Keys. Like,
Wow. Huh.
so,
That's
yeah.
cool.
How was your guys' trip?
It was exciting. We saw the Eagles at the Sphere, which was
Okay.
amazing, and that was an incredible show.
You're talking
Um,
like the Philadelphia Eagles who won the Super Bowl, right?
yes, they
Yeah.
played a
Okay. Yeah.
special
hmm
symphonic concert
Okay. Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
Sphere. Um, I did not know Don Henley played for them, which was amazing. But no, it was an incredible show. Don Henley was really great. Joe Walsh is a really good guitarist,
Hmm.
and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But he's he sang his songs, and he sounded a little bit like a Muppet. I'm not gonna lie,
Mm.
but but he was, the dude can play guitar. There's no doubt about that. But then we went up to Page, Arizona, and saw the slot canyons up there, and the Grand Canyon, which is of course always amazing.
Yeah.
Albuquerque was cool. We went to Santa Fe to Meow Wolf, which is just this incredible immersive art company. They started in Santa Fe. They've got locations in Denver and Las Vegas, and a couple new ones in Texas. Just
Hmm.
absolutely astonishing. But that is not what has brought us here today. Robin wants to know if you got Delaware. Did you get
We
Delaware?
did. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you see one of the numbered Delaware plates?
I don't know.
So there's this fun side story. Google Delaware plate numbers.
They're like serialized, right? It's like
Yeah,
there's a certain
yeah. So like you can, if you want to buy like plate 200,
hmm
it's like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. There's a very cool story about it. But anyway, so yes, we got lots of people here. John McCartney's here. Brian Hyde. Robin, of course, is here, and he is our commander of the day. The poll has closed, and so he will be our commander for today. Well done, Robin. Mr. Coffee is here. Wake Bill is here. I saw Charles a few moments ago, and there was Mind Blown seems to think that I was going to come dancing in. There, as I alluded to in the intro, some folks have done some background on your old pal Gary Blevins here, and discovered that I had a career as a ballroom dance instructor. And I taught ballroom, Latin, and swing for about 5 years. I had a dance studio just outside of Cincinnati called Bolero's Dance Club. Google it if you like. There's lots of pictures and videos. But yeah, it was. I loved it, and we met some just incredible people, and got to tell some fun stories, and I loved it. So it was, and we still go dancing from time to time. It's actually how I met my wife. Was in a foxtrot class in 2001 in Jacksonville, Florida. I was new in town and wanted to try something new, and she was there, and I was terrible, and she had taken some more lessons than I had, and so she kind of came over and kind of helped me through those first steps. So that was kind of our meet cute, and that was 2001. So it was like 200 or 300 years ago. No, I'm not sure, but no, it's been a lot of fun. We've been dancing together ever since, which has been
nice,
which has been great. Okay. Yes, Charles, you're such a dork. You don't have to hide my Axis and Allies Hall of Fame induction announcement any longer. Brother, you're in the Hall of Fame of our hearts, my friend. You're in the Hall of Fame of our hearts, or something. I can't remember. What were the odds when we went on break that Charles gave us? We were like 12,
negative
1,200 or something.
1,200. I don't remember. I know it wasn't good.
It was not good. But
has that been reassessed, Charles? Have you examined some paths forward for us in this game since then?
Here's what's funny. Like, I love the internet. You guys crack me up because in the same like comment section, I think it was the last one or the live stream before that, like there was somebody that said that the world should have already resigned because there's no way that they could win based on the current state of the board. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I don't know that that's true. And then not 3 comments down, it's the Axis should resign now. They have no shot at winning this game. I was like, yeah, okay, that's how I know we've got a good game going, right? It's the internet is split on whether or not either one of us can win. I think we're at a place in the game where either side can win.
I would take an allied resignation at this point. I would just put it out there. If the commanders want to get together and decide that, we would accept.
Yes. And I'll send free T-shirts or something. I don't know. I'm buying victories at this point. I'm buying victory cities at this point.
Buying victory city.
I don't know. Anyway, well, we got a bunch of people here already here. Fantastic. If you can take a second for us and hit that like button. I know that it sounds silly, but it really does help push the video out after the live stream is done. So if you can take a second and hit that for us, that would be much appreciated. And I forgot to say this in the intro, but you'll notice on the crawl, the odds are fluctuating as we speak. Thanks, Charles. But if you are new here, if you've never seen this live stream before, it is open to the public, so anyone can watch. But if you would like to participate in the chat, which is obviously a lot of fun, if you want to participate in the chat, you'll need to click that join button and become a member. Pick the membership level that is right for you, and then you will be able to join our chat here, as well as our Discord server, where people are voting to determine which commander's orders we're going to follow for the world, right? So Doug and I are playing against the commanders are writing the orders, and then the world is voting to determine which of those orders is to be used. And today's commander, as I mentioned a moment ago, is the one and only Robin. And one of these days I'm going to figure out how to say your last name, Robin. I swear to God. But only for a Gear Force 1 T-shirt payment up front, please. I don't know. We'll see.
Better get on that, man.
Right. Okay, so I think we need to do the big news first. It's a little early in the live stream, but we got a lot to get through today, and I want to make sure that we get a chance to get through all of it. So we've been talking about this for quite some time, and I'm going to try to be as succinct with this as possible because we've got a lot involved with this, but and there will be more information as it becomes available. We're still nailing down some of the finer details. But Board Game Nation is hosting its very first event, in-person live play tournament. Okay. And that event is going to be called BGN Battlefront Dayton. So our event is going to be November 7th, 8th, and 9th in Dayton, Ohio. This event will be at the Hope Hotel. Do not call them to try to make reservations yet. We haven't set up the block yet. Okay. So don't call them just yet to try to set up any rooms. But that's where it's going to be. I'll let you know when we're ready to book all that stuff.
Shouldn't have told them where it was, man.
I know, you're probably right. I forget where it is. It's in Dayton, and it is near the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Okay. And which is very nearby the National Air Force Museum. Okay. So we'll have the ability to, we'll make sure that in everyone's schedule is the opportunity to go and visit the Air Force Museum. Ed, welcome back. Great to see you. Thanks for rejoining. You're back again. It's great to have you. Okay, so what are we going to be doing at this event that is different than anything that you've seen before? And yes, this is different. We're making Axis and Allies news today, friends. If you've ever played at Gen Con or played in the World Championship, you know that it is oftentimes difficult to get tickets to this event. Okay. And there may be dancing, mind blown. There may be dancing at this thing. I can't, we'll have to see. Almost certainly. How can you have an event like this without dancing? The tickets are difficult to get, okay? For not only for the World Championship event, but also for Global and for 1942 Second Edition. In 2024, all of those events sold out very, very quickly. Tickets for the 2025 Gen Con are going to go on sale, I believe it's May 18th. Somebody double check me. I think that's right. And I expect them to sell out within less than a day. So make sure that if you're wanting to go in 2025, make sure that you're on the ball and getting your tickets. Your badge, you got to buy a badge to Gen Con first. And then when the individual event tickets go on sale, you buy those when they go on sale, which I think, again, May 18th. Somebody double check. So in anticipation of that for 2026, I've spoken with Greg Samori, who runs the Gen Con events and the World Championship. And what we have agreed to do is our event in Dayton will be a qualifying event for Gen Con. Now, let me be really clear about this. You do not have to play in our event to be able to play at Gen Con. But if you play in our event and win 1942 Second Edition, Anniversary, or Global, if you play in any one of those three events and win, you are guaranteed a seat at Gen Con 2026 in that event. Does that make sense? People understand what I'm talking about there?
Clear to me.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. So this is the first ever Axis and Allies World Championship qualifying event. I think that's cool. I think that's cool by itself. Okay. Which to me is a sign of extraordinary growth in the game, that qualifying events are now needed because there are more people wanting to play in these World Championship events than are available, than spaces are available, right? So that's one cool thing that's happening. The second cool thing that's happening is we will be hosting the first ever diplomacy triathlon. What is that, I hear you saying? Okay, so at the moment, there are two diplomacy games. There's the original diplomacy that we all know and love that we've been playing for years. And there's the new one, Diplomacy Era of Empire, which is available for pre-order now and is supposed to ship later this year. And again, we're making some news today, friends. There is and this is all literally, don't ask me any questions about it. This is all I'm allowed to say. There is a mystery diplomacy game that is going to premiere at our event in November. And it will be the first triathlon for diplomacy in the world. A world first.
That's pretty
At our
awesome.
event. Thank you to Mr. Thomas Haver and his beautiful Fez for stepping up and bringing that event to our show. Super excited about it. And all those things are cool. But wait, there's more. So we've got the first World Championship. Cray T, welcome back. Good to see you. We're back, baby. Yes, don't ever ask me to do that again. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Cray. Good to see you. Thanks for being back. So that's cool. We have a special guest that's coming. That is a game designer, Roscoe, and I'm afraid I've forgotten his last name, and I apologize. He has been part of the diplomacy space for quite some time, and he is very, very cool dude, and actually lives in Pittsburgh, so he'll be driving down for that event. But there's another game designer, your friend and mine, who I spoke to the other day and is excited about the event and is planning to join us. The one and only Mr. Larry Harris is planning to be there for our very first event. We're super excited to have him. He will be bringing Imperial Borders with him. And that game is, if you back that game, you're a smart person, because that game looks fantastic. It is, when I talked to him about it, he said that they're still set to ship in July. So if you back that campaign, then you should probably be getting that game late June to mid-July is the current plan. But he'll have copies that will be available at this, at the event itself. And I'm still talking to Tom Gale, who's the other half of Nightingale Games, to see whether or not he's going to be available to come. And if he's able to come, then they'll actually be hosting that game and running live demos so that people can get a chance to actually play that game. And anybody who has heard anything about Imperial Borders, it is, as far as I'm concerned, it is diplomacy meets Axis and Allies. Right?
That's really what it looks like a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So if you like diplomacy, you're going to like Imperial Borders. If you like Axis and Allies, you're almost certainly going to like Imperial Borders. It's going to be a fantastic event. We're super excited about it. Someone I need to shout out is Robert Newman, who is one of our very first members. And he reached out to me and said that he wanted to help start putting together an event for us. And he's been just a tremendous help. He's been calling hotels and finding historical sites for us to try to hold events in. And he was the one who found this particular location, and it's going to be fantastic. This is a great question. Does Larry play his games, or is it an unfair advantage? I love Larry. I'm a big fan, but I will tell you, just you and me in the audio recording, he designs great games, but he will tell you himself, he's not particularly good at any of the games that he designs. And when you think about it, like the way that I think about it is like the guy who designed the game basketball is not Michael Jordan, right? Like I'm pretty sure it was a gym teacher that came up with that game like forever ago. But Larry Harris is going to be there, and he will be. We're working on autographs and standing for pictures and those kinds of details and what all that's going to look like and so forth. But we're super excited that he's willing to come. We've got a couple of other fun things in store. But I will tell you, it was funny because when I was talking to Larry about it, he said, like I told him all the things that we wanted to do. I said it was going to be a qualifier for Gen Con. We're going to do this big diplomacy thing. And one other thing that that there's some people in this group that I think would be interested in this. We have invited our friend Robert Phelps to join us. And if you don't know Robert, he lives in the Dayton area, and he's a big fan of the Young Grasshopper variant of Axis and Allies. And it's basically global with a separate overlay that I unfortunately haven't had a chance to play it yet, but a lot of people really, really like it, and I hear good things about it. And Larry has actually seen it played before, and he liked it. So I've invited them to join us, and they're going to set up 1 or 2 tables to play their game, and those will be available as demos. So if you get a free moment, you can walk over and play Italy for a couple of minutes just to get a feel for what that game looks like and how that game plays. And we've also invited our friends in the Bloodbath Rules community, the BBR guys. And we have I think 4 or 5 of them at this point that are interested to basically do the same thing. Come out, set up a table, run your game, but make sure that you're inviting people to come and play. Because we've got like these separate groups, these kind of camps, these silos inside of the Axis and Allies community, and they very rarely have an opportunity to see each other or to learn from each other or to like show off their variant. Right? And so I'm inviting those folks to the event to try to grow, if they want to, they can try to grow their individual communities. And, if there's a way to make that happen, then I wish them all the luck in the world. Sponsors for this event that have already signed on are Historical Board Gaming, Mr. Doug Friend, and Doug Friend has a game, Global War. I think they're going to bring the demo for 1936 Global War and set up a table for that. My understanding of Global War is that it takes 2 or 3 days to play it. Yeah, like you start on Friday, you finish Sunday night, kind of game, and that's cool. I don't know that I have the attention span for it, but there are those that do, and that's fantastic. So they'll almost certainly be out. We are also talking about a painted miniatures competition, which I think would be fun. We can't have them on the table because like everybody paints differently, but I think it would be cool to have I know there's a bunch of guys out there that love to paint the minis and give them a chance to show those off and have the audience judge, which I think would be pretty cool. Charles, look at you, Charles. Charles, you're a good man. He's offering to provide Hall of Fame autographs. Oh. Brother.
That's so generous of him.
He's a giver. He's a giver.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right, so I am going to have more information about that, including it's a 3-day event. So if you want to play in the Axis and Allies qualifiers, it's 3 days of play, right? So we're going to start Friday at noon, and we'll be done Sunday by 5 or 6 is the current schedule, is what we're looking at right now. And we've got a fair amount of space. But when I was talking to Larry about this and telling him all the things that we wanted to do and all the groups that we wanted to involve, he's like, so you're going to have like 500 or 600 people, right?
That's what it sounds like.
Right. And I said, no, my space is limited to 200. So yeah, it's going to be, this is our very first, let me just say, this is our very first event, and I wanted to be conservative, right? I think that we could host an event that had 300, 400, 500. I don't know if we could get that many people like on our first go, but I think that we can get to that point at some, get to that level at some point. But I didn't want to try to swing for those fences on our first attempt. But I've got a stack of hotel contracts sitting in my inbox that I need to go through and sign. The one thing that I do know for sure right now is that the room rate at the hotel that we'll be staying at, that I will not name again, please don't go back and look for what I said, because they're not, if you do, don't call them yet. They don't have the room block set up. you're going to get charged the wrong rate, because the room rate that we've negotiated is $95 a night, and it is actually a pretty reasonable hotel. So I'm excited about it. I'm super excited about it. Is anybody else excited about that? Like, it's been really quiet in the chat here. You guys are kind of freaking me out. Like, are you people interested in this? Or is like this a thing that anybody's going to show up for? Like, I feel like it's my 13th birthday party again. Like, I'm going to throw this big thing and no one's going to come. It's going to be really sad.
I'm excited about it, Gary. I think
it's
it
going
sounds
to be me,
really,
Doug, and
really
Larry
cool.
Harris. I don't know what anybody else is doing.
That's right. A couple other guys demoing some board games. Who knows?
Right, exactly. All right, so that's what we've got. I'm super excited about it, and we're going to be doing. Yes, Mindblown wants to know how much. Thank you. This is my lovely wife right here. Jamie's ready. It's party. Jamie's going to be there. It's going to be good. Excellent. All right. So go ahead.
I have a question, kind of unrelated, but when you were talking about these different versions of global, I've heard about BBR. I've heard about the Young Grasshopper variant, but haven't met it. I don't even know if I've met someone who's played that version. Met some BBR people. Do you get a sense that these like different variants are kind of like, yeah, there's a reason we made our variant because it's just way better than the others, and like to play regular global would not be very interesting at all? Like, is there a little bit of a like, we don't like the other variants, or is it pretty open? There's a lot of people who jump back and forth between them and enjoy them all, and they're. Does that kind of make sense? Like, I don't know. Are they?
I totally get your question.
These factions, or are they just like friends who came up with a different idea?
I don't know. So there are people in this thread that I know have played some of the variants that are in the comments now. My understanding, and this is from Ed, you're absolutely right. It is a lot to take in. I'm going to have flyers and information and social media posts and everything about it as soon as I get the graphics together. So this is kind of the announcement, and then we'll have more details about it as we nail them all down with the hotel, and we'll have ticket prices, and there'll be 2-day prices, there'll be 3-day prices, 2-day prices. There's going to be gifts, and Renegade has already signed on as a sponsor, so we're super excited about that. We're still working on exactly what those details will be in terms of they're going to give us some prize support, but they may also help in some of the other areas. But like I said, we're still working all that out. But I wanted to tell everybody about what we've got. As far as the relationship between the BBR guys and the Young Grasshopper or YG guys, it's more like this is a group that kind of formed, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that the BBR guys don't like the Young Grasshopper guys or vice versa. They're in separate silos. And most of the time they're
the version of the game, not the individuals.
Yeah. No, I get it. Most of them have never been exposed to the other version.
Got it.
Now, I will say, having played the BBR version myself, or tried to play it, and played it badly, apparently, the rules for BBR are very deep. Like, it's the global rule book plus 40 pages.
Wow.
But it is like, it's every rule in there is historically based, right? So like every spot in this thing is like thought about, and it's really well thought out, and like the balance of it is pretty good. And I mean, it's a good game. It's a good game, but it is very, very deep. It's very, very complicated. Cody Waterman has said he has Young Grasshopper's Utah deck, and they think it's very useful. So what they like I said, I haven't played the Young Grasshopper version, but I know that it has cards, and I don't want to speculate as to what they do. I'd hate to give wrong information about it, but they do have a number of different decks that can be played. And again, like I said, I'm not 100% sure how all of that particularly works. I would die of old age if I tried to get that out of the video. For sure, I would absolutely die of old age. So, but one thing that I will say that I like about the BBR game is that it is time limited. So BBR is designed to play in tournaments. So when they set up to play BBR, like they get 80 guys to show up. 60, 80, 100 guys, depending on like when their events are and where they are. The big one's in Atlanta. The one I went to was in St. Louis. Robert Prather, the chaplain, you may have seen his YouTube channel. He does a really nice job kind of covering their events and their games. And a friend of mine, and good, super, super good dude. And I think they play in 9 hours, maybe it's 8 hours, and it gets pretty frantic towards the end. So it's an interesting game, but it's heavy. There's no doubt about that.
Got it.
Yeah, this is something that I've thought about too, Craig. Just to be clear, 100% want to go, but a vacation and whether it's feasible, I'll have a better idea if I can do after we're closer to Gen Con. Right. And I'm wondering, like, I'm not trying to set up an alternative to Gen Con for Axis and Allies players, but there are some people that are going to see this as an alternative to Gen Con. Like, Gen Con's going to be is a lot more expensive than the event that I'm putting together. I'm not saying that my event is going to be cheap by any stretch, but it's going to be a high quality event. But it's not going to require, a separate badge and then a bunch of event tickets and, a 4 or 5 day stay at a hotel in a city that doesn't have nearly enough hotel rooms to support an event the size of Gen Con. So Gen Con is logistically much more difficult to manage than the event that I'm putting together. So don't get me wrong, I'm encouraging everybody to go to Gen Con. Absolutely. If you can afford it and you're interested in it and you can handle the crowds and you want to play in the World Championship, absolutely. Fantastic. I will see you there. But if that's not your show, if that's not the thing that you're interested in, then maybe this is an alternative, but entirely up to you. And maybe you come in and you win this thing and it motivates you to go in 2026. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Any other questions, comments, things we want to talk about when it comes to this event? Battlefront Dayton. Right at Air Force Base. I think it's going to be great. We're really, really excited about it. And Larry Harris is going to be there.
That's really cool.
I think that's pretty cool. And we're talking to some other folks to see if any other designers want to join us. Maybe somebody that designed that game or that game. Maybe that game right there. We'll see. We're talking to them. We'll see what happens. All right. Assistant to the regional championship, maybe. So yeah, we'll see. I will tell you that my goal is to help to be able to get a set of rules together that everybody can get behind for tournament play, and then publish them for our friends in Europe that want to run a European championship. Fantastic. Our friends in Australia, New Zealand, let's get that rule set together, send that down to them, or maybe they can come up with something on their own. But so long as everybody's playing the same rule set, now when they come to Gen Con to play in the World Championship, we've got a real World Championship, right? Because we're all playing with the same basic rule set. So I'm excited about that. But and we will be using clocks at our event for sure. But we will certainly, we'll be testing them, I think, for the first time at the Spring Gathering. So I'm looking forward to that. So yes. Clocks. I'm excited about clocks. Yes.
I won't derail us for another 30 minutes asking questions, but yeah, I like it. I like the idea of clocks. That'd be good.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
We'll have a whole separate live stream just talking about how to integrate clocks into Axis and Allies. Mime, that's fantastic. We hope to. We look forward to seeing you there. Okay. Where are we? All right, we're right about there. All right, so let's cut to the recap. Let's see if we can do a quick walkthrough. Doug, I'm gonna need your help for this because I'm basically just taking the pictures of the. Crazy. I'm so glad you asked this question. Sorry, Doug. I realized I was taking us in a path there, but Crazy has a good question here. Do you plan to live stream from Battlefront Dayton for subscribers to go too distant to go? English is hard. Yes, we will be live streaming from that event. And I'm working out exactly what that's going to look like because I'll be running some of the events. So to be able to host those live streams or get those live streams running and also running the events is going to be, I can only be in 6 or 7 places at the same time. So I'm still working out exactly what the details of this will look like, but we will be live streaming something from there, including maybe a panel discussion with Larry. That was something else that we were talking about doing, which I think would be cool. And any other designers that are there. Maybe we have like a designers panel for historical gaming, which I think would be a pretty cool thing to do. But we will be live streaming, but we just as a matter of like encouraging people to come to the event, those live streams might be member only, just so that like there's a benefit for being a member. The other thing is that we're going to make sure that members have preference when it comes to early ticket sales and early event registration. So if you're a member of Board Game Nation, you'll have the opportunity to get tickets first and to register for the events that you want to play in. So we make sure that we get a chance to take care of those folks, and then we will open it up to the public. So if you want early treatment, feel free to join, and we'll make sure that you have the opportunity to do that. Hint, hint. No, it's fine. It's fine. We're super excited and grateful for the members that we have right now, and love my wife for dropping the link and how to join in the chat. Okay, so Doug, I'm going to need your help with this one. We're going to go to a screen share here, and we're going to see if we can't make this make sense. Here we go. All right. Why is that like that?
A couple of mean-looking guys there.
They're just street toughs is all they are. Okay, so Robin, you're killing me, brother. You're absolutely killing me. Wait, there's a BGN con? Come on, man.
He's listening on mute.
Right. Okay. So I don't know why this silliness is up here. All right, we're going to live with that. All right, so in Japan 1, we kicked off with a very aggressive Japanese opening. We pushed heavy into China. We were successful in defeating the fleet in 35, as well as taking out the fleet in Pearl Harbor. So a very successful opener for Japan in this particular game. Lots of Allied losses, and not so much on the Japan side. So at the end of Japan 1, we turned it over to them. Then we had the Russian and German opening. The Russians pushed forward a little bit, but the Germans pushed back hard. The Russians did step into Manchuria, and they were able to take that space. But the Germans bought an aircraft carrier, and which kind of caused the UK to give a bit of a pause. We were also successful in destroying the entire fleet in Sea Zone 2, the cruiser and destroyer that starts in Sea Zone 12, but we did leave the cruiser and the transport alone in Sea Zone 1 in this opener. So we had a pretty successful opening. We did make what some thought was an unusual choice in Sea Zone 12. I can't see what that says. We made an unusual choice in Sea Zone 12. What? Sorry. We made and we opted to lose a fighter and keep the destroyer. And I'm trying to remember why we did that. Do you remember why we did that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
To deter a landing in Morocco, I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that was the idea, is that the Americans would then have to fight through that destroyer. But we pushed up into and took Karelia, and we held Ukraine. We pushed heavy into Belarusia, which is where the bulk of the Russian forces were, and that set up. And then we pushed a big chunk of the German pieces into Libya to stage for an attack into Egypt and Transjordan. And we kept the we kept the transport in C-Zone 14. So on UK 1, this was their starting position, and they evacuated out into Transjordan. The Italians stepped in and took Egypt lightly, and then they bought a carrier and consolidated their fleet in C-Zone 8. Oh yeah, that's you know what, Robin's got it right. We lost the fighters so that we could put that stack in Libya, because if we kept the fighter, then one fighter would be the only thing that would have been left in
we didn't have
Morocco,
to defend it,
and it would have been too easy to kill. So yeah, Robin, thank you. That's a good call. And so the UK also stepped into Burma and took that space back, and I think that was the bulk of what they did on that first turn. And they brought that transport from South Africa up and landed in C-Zone 17, that French West Africa. And they brought the fighter up from Australia. So they made a couple of strategic choices here. So at the end of US1, that's where this picture is from, before Japan's, this is at the end of Japan's second turn. Yes, this is at the end of Japan's second turn. So Japan consolidated into C-Zone 51 around the Caroline Islands at the end of their second turn. So I'm sorry, this is wrong. This label, this is not US1. This is start of Japan, or this is the end of Japan 2. But I think Doug and I have talked about this enough and agree that the decision to not send, I think the most that we could get there with was 2 fighters and a bomber. We could have gone out to sink the fleet that is around Hawaii. There's a battleship, a cruiser, and a transport there that we could have destroyed, or at least had a pretty good, reasonable chance of destroying. I feel like that was something that we probably could have done. We pushed further into China, and staged for a fork, essentially, of Honolulu and Sydney, with some light pressure on San Francisco if the Americans decided to do something silly. So I really, other than not hitting the American fleet there, I feel like this was a really good Japan 2, because we eliminated China's ability to build anything when it came to their next turn. Now the UK steps forward into Yunnan to create one, but that was, I felt like this was a good position for us to be in.
Yeah.
A lot of people asked about this, the cruiser, the battleship and the carrier that was in 35. We left that there anticipating that the Axis were going to be able to open up the Suez Canal. And with the purchase of the American fleet in DC, we anticipated that it was a kill Germany first strategy. And so we left those in 35 to give us the ability to move those units into the Med on Japan 3, if that was something that we felt like needed to be done. And it also created some other options. What?
Yeah, the fighters from French Indochina could follow and rendezvous in C-Zone 15, so we would have had a loaded carrier with a battleship that could link up with the Italian fleet.
Right. Exactly. So UK2, and this is, so we had the Russians and the Russians and the Germans went through here. So UK2, they landed. They joined with the Italian fleet. The Italians landed and took Caucasus in this particular turn, on this Italian turn. They also moved into Transjordan. Oh, very important move, consequential battle that seemed like a good idea at the time, but absolutely went to hell, was the Germans trying to make a very aggressive move through Libya, or from Libya through Egypt, to try to take out those UK units in Transjordan. We went in there with reasonable odds, not fantastic odds, but the objective was to just thin down those units. And we got absolutely slaughtered by the dice in that particular battle. We retreated with the air units, and they were required then to land in Egypt, which made them pretty good targets for the UK land units that were in Transjordan, as well as the fighters that are in Calcutta, and I believe the bomber also had the option to reach there, but or maybe not. But anyway, there was a lot that could get there, and get there they did. They landed in Paris and in northwestern Europe, and in a little bit of vindication here. The units that were in Egypt successfully destroyed all of the attacking land units. So the air units had to retreat, and they had to land in Anglo Egypt, Sudan. The bomber was able to make it, actually, now that I'm looking at it again. And so that left the Italian tank that was in Libya, gave them the ability to move across and capture Transjordan, which was kind of a weird little juxtaposition. But yeah, and so as we moved out of this turn, the Italians held Caucasus, the fighter was in Ukraine, and a reasonable stack continued to hold into Belarusia. As we set up for US's second turn, this was what we looked like. The UK had stepped into Yunnan, which gave the Chinese the ability to build one unit. They tried to build it in Xinjiang, which is where the rest of the Chinese units are. But Charles, thank you, Charles, reminded us that that was not possible, and they ended up having to build it in Yunnan. And they landed the fighter in Australia. And this was the board state at the end of the second, no, this is just before the US's second turn.
Yeah.
Right. So they backed the fleet off. Yeah, there we go. They backed the fleet out of Pearl Harbor. They moved it back to San Francisco. They brought the fleet from 10 with the 2 transports and landed with 2 infantry, 2 artillery in to Morocco. And then they also brought over the fighter. And their destroyer moved into Sea Zone 13, which gave them a presence in the Med. Basically, to stop the Italians from just swooping in and trying to kill those American land units, which it successfully did stop them from doing that. The Germans also reinforced that very important Italian tank that was in Transjordan. They landed an infantry and a fighter there. Otherwise, the UK air units were just going to swing through there and destroy that tank, which we did not want them to be able to do. So we gave them some reinforcements. We also sent a couple of fighters down to Rome and left them there so that they can make sure that that small U.S. fleet in Sea Zone 12 didn't get any clever ideas of trying to swing in and take out Rome. The Japanese did take out the. Oh yes, this was unfortunate. The Japanese on Japan 3 successfully destroyed the last Chinese unit and the UK unit that was standing in Yunnan, but failed to take the territory. So there is still one Chinese territory, but there are no units in that area. And also on Japan 3, they swung down and took the Opera House down in Sydney. They picked up. They did lose a fighter to that AA gun. Man, that Australian AA gun is a beast. And the battleship that was in 35 came down, did an offshore shot with a transport that came down from 51 from Sea Zone 39, and we kind of hit Australia from both sides and split the fleet a little bit. And so they've got a carrier in 36, a carrier in 62, a carrier in northeast Australia, the waters there, whatever sea zone that is. And the Americans just had the carrier and the battleship and some transport up there in San Francisco. For UK 3, so this is the current state for this front. No, it's not. I lied. This is not.
No, it's beginning before UK moved.
Yeah, there's still this is just before the UK decided that they were done with the Germans having a navy. So they decided to go and blow that up, which they did handily. Not only did they blow up that fleet and take, I think they lost one destroyer in that battle, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, might have hit them twice. One on the battleship and one destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah, that was absolutely brutal. And then they also landed in Karelia, and they were able to take out all of the units that were there. I think they lost one infantry in return. So that was a pretty brutal round for the Germans, and good for the UK. Yes, mind blowing. The German fleet lives on the bottom of the Baltic Sea now. That is true and correct. The Italians decided, it was 2 infantry. Thank you, Robin. Thank you for that correction. The Italians then responded with what I think was a pretty bold move. They split that Italian fleet that was up in the Black Sea in 16. They sent the battleship and the cruiser with their transport down to attack the remaining units that had evacuated out of Calcutta. I believe there was 2 infantry and a fighter there and an AA gun. They attacked with an infantry, a tank, and then the 2 offshore shots. They did not come with the fighter that was in Ukraine, that ended up in Paris. And they also sent the cruiser and the destroyer to take out that US destroyer that was in Sea Zone 13. The sub that you're seeing in Sea Zone 14 is actually the Russian sub that somehow managed to find its way into Mediterranean waters. So that is where, I believe this is where we are now. Yep.
Yes.
Yes. So that is current state. We've got the Axis have a pretty good handle on Paris. Obviously, we've got still a pretty good handle on Berlin, and the Germans are still making a pretty good amount of money. The Japanese have 39 IPCs to spend when it comes to their turn. But the Americans have land units in the area and the transports to move them around, as well as 3 giant bombers that are hanging out in London. So there is a lot to go through here for the Americans. All right. And that is where we are now.
Catches us up.
Right? Previously on Gary and Doug versus the world. This is where we are. Any thoughts, questions, anything I missed in any part of that?
No, I think it was a good overview. We need to get us a American bomber or 2 this round.
That would be fantastico. All right. Yeah. So I believe it is time for us to move over to the other side and execute Robin's orders and see if we can't make some magic here. Oh, something that you're about to see is a gift from Mr. Doug Friend over at Historical Board Gaming. He gave us a dice box. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Very kind. Very kind.
Great.
Yes. All right. So we've got a new dice box. Compliments of Mr. Doug Friend. Thank you very much, Doug. We appreciate that. And as I said before, Robin is our winner, our commander of the day.
I have to say about the orders, I really liked the variety. I mean, there was literally one option that was West Coast build only. I think there was one option that was East Coast build only, and there was about 2 or 3 options in between. There were some similarities, but there were also a lot of variances. I mean, going to Alaska, all sorts of things. And I just love seeing that variety. I don't know what I thought I would do as America right off the top of my head, but it was cool to see all the options.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I appreciate the commanders taking the time and putting these orders together for us and doing such a great job. And so we really appreciate that. I should have said this earlier, but in Memphis right now, we have what we refer to as the yellowing, which is basically massive amounts of tree pollen, which I happen to be allergic to. So I apologize if there's an inordinate amount of sniffling in tonight's live stream. So thank you for your patience. Okay, so the U.S. had 41 IPCs to spend, and they have decided to spend it this time on 2 infantry, 2 fighters, 1 transport, and a destroyer, which is what we have here. Okay, and now for combat move, we have from C Zone 12, we have the destroyer moving to 13. And the fighter also coming from 12 into 13 to try to take out our cruise ships out there.
Friendly neighborhood Italian fleet.
That's right. We have 1 bomber coming from the UK to C Zone 13 because, why not? Let's put some dice down here. This fighter has moved 1. This bomber moved 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think these 2 bombers are going 2 different places, so we'll turn these into bombers real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Next, 1 bomber is going to Belarusia to try to kill this 1 dude. I'm not sure what he did to you, but all right, cool.
3, 4.
How many moves is that? 1, 2,
3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
3. You can get there in 3.
3. 1,
Season
2, 3,
1, 2,
4.
3. Oh no, my bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
4, right?
Yep.
Okay. The fighter and the bomber coming from UK to Archangel. So they're coming around.
That's 3.
There, that is 3 moves for both of those guys. Okay. Next, we have 1 infantry coming from Morocco into Libya. Okay. All right. Does that look right, Robin?
This is one of those rounds where they have a lot of battles where they should blow us up, but a couple of good hits could be really good for the Axis this round.
Yes, some quality dice here could go a long way for us.
Yeah.
Yep. Robin has confirmed that this is the orders that he has submitted, and we are now ready to fire away. Okay? All right. Jamie is here, and she is also struggling with the today's pollen count. So, again, I'm going to thank Doug Friend for the box. We are going to hope that it serves us better than the Catan box that we've been using, because that thing needed to be retired after the last piece of mayhem. All right.
That's right.
So I think I don't know. You've got a particular order here, Robin. I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're all kind of running together. So we're going to start up here in Archangel, I guess. And this is your bomber. And it hits, and our infantry firing back hits.
Nice.
You want to lose the fighter or the bomber, Robin, in Archangel? I like asking this question. Can I tell you that?
Yeah. That's great.
That's going to be good. He wants to lose the... Oh, no, wait. Yeah. Fighter or bomber?
Brutal.
Fighter. Loses the fighter. Okay. All right. I like where we're starting. I like it. All right, next up
I like
is...
the new dice box already.
I knew I liked that Doug Friend. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Belarusia. This is your fighter, or your bomber, rather. This is your bomber. Missing. This is our infantry firing back.
Get him.
And oh, I saw it flash at me.
I saw one for a second.
I know. I saw it too. Okay. We will do it again.
Beautiful.
This is your bomber in Belarusia. Hitting. That's a 1 that hits. And now we fire back. And hit again. Come on now.
Nice.
Come on now. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's good stuff right there. All right. Next is C-Zone 13. This is your bomber. That's 1 hit. This is your fighter. That is a 2nd hit. Holy cow. Aces. Okay, so that's going to be enough of that. This is our destroyer at a 2. Missing. This is our cruiser at a 3. Hitting. All right, so that's 1 hit. You want to lose the destroyer, I assume? We're waiting here. I'm assuming this is the destroyer. It's going to be the loss. Okay. Destroyer, thank you very much. All right, so the destroyer goes down. Okay, so yes, Dave, what you just described is absolutely right. That's a cocked die. So I worked in casinos for 20 years, and about 10 of it was as a crap stealer. And here's how this works. Basically, what you do is you assume that whatever it's leaning on melts. You assume that whatever it's leaning on is a piece of ice. And if it's a piece of ice, then it melts, and that's where it would fall. So that's the same reason why I counted your 1 as it leaned up this way, because if this were to melt, it would come as a 1. So I'm glad that your die was cocked first rather than mine. So I like this, but I wish that the sides were a little more straight up and down. Okay, so
it does allow us to see it with the angled sides, though. I could see better than the Catan box a little bit.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. Okay, so that's the end of the combat. Yeah, am I right about that?
Yeah.
All right, so these guys are in here.
That was great.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how that turned out. We got a hit in every battle.
Yes.
You gotta like that. Okay, Doug, good man. These, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to tell you that Historical Board Gaming makes the world's finest dice boxes. No, that's fine. I wouldn't get too excited about that, Doug friend, because I might be cursing your name later. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see what happens next and when Japan goes here in a minute, right?
Exactly. All right. So, non-combat. Let's see what you've got for non-combat here. The bomber and the fighter from Archangel, or at least the bomber anyway, is going to go to Karelia. The bomber from Belarusia was an invalid order. The bomber from C-Zone 13 is headed back to the UK, where he will now be the only bomber there. The fighter from C-Zone 13 is going to C-Zone 27.
It's got to be 7. Where's the carrier going?
The fighter from C-Zone 13 to C-Zone 27. Down here?
I would look and see where.
Right.
It's probably just C-Zone 7. Where's he moving the carrier from 12 to?
I'm sorry, you're right. It's C-Zone 7. Yes, it's SZ7 is what he's got here. Okay, so the carrier's moving to 7. Okay, the fighter's moving to 7. Yes. This makes a lot more sense. Okay. The transport carrying 1 infantry and 2 artillery from Morocco going to C-Zone 12. Wait. So you're going from Morocco to Eastern Canada? You're going here? The 2 transports from C-Zone 7 are also moving over to C-Zone 9. And I guess the 2 infantry from Washington. You got 22, but I assume it's 2. Eastern United States up to Eastern Canada.
22 infantry.
The 1 infantry from Western Canada moves to Eastern Canada. Okay. The 2 fighters in 56 land in Hawaii. Interesting. Okay. And now we, Robin, confirm for this is all the U.S. non-combat move. I need to get you a marker for Libya. Is this, Robin, you're looking at your non-combat here, making sure that all this is correct? Did we lose Robin? Robin, are you there with us? Okay. He's put us on hold, my friends. Okay. Am I seeing that right? Did somebody just give us 20 memberships? Holy cow. Okay, so I don't have a good way to see it right now, but it looks like somebody just donated 20 memberships. Wow, that's very, very kind. We're going to figure out who that is in just a minute. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to pull all 20 names onto the screen, but we will certainly try. Oh. And while we're waiting on Robin, I've added to the bottom of the map here, these are the Victory City tokens and the powers that control them. So this is Berlin, Warsaw, Stalingrad. Italy only controls Rome. Japan controls Tokyo, Manila, Paris, Shanghai, Sydney, and Hong Kong. Russia currently controls Moscow and Leningrad. The UK only controls London and Ottawa. And the US controls... Oh, they currently control Calcutta, excuse me. And then the U.S. controls Washington, San Francisco, and the beautiful city of Honolulu. Okay, so Robin is good with our current, with the state of the U.S. non-combat. Okay, and so now it is time to mobilize. We're going to send the 2 infantry to Western United States, which will give them a total of 3 infantry there. We're going to mobilize the fighter, destroyer, and the 2 fighters, the transport and the destroyer, into C-Zone 56. So a complete Pacific build for US3. So that is interesting. So over here, they're going to have, what have I got? Let's do a little chip edge, shall we, so we can see what's happening here. So this is one guy. These are... That's 2 destroyers, 2 transports. Here, this is now 4 infantry and 2 artillery. And this is 4 transports. Okay, we're done with these. Okay. All right, so the Americans Quick recap of the Americans' position. In Eastern Canada, they have 4 infantry, 2 artillery. C-Zone 9 has 4 transports in it. C-Zone 7 has a carrier and a fighter that belong to the U.S. There's also a British fighter on that transport on that carrier in C-Zone 7. UK has 1 American bomber in it. Karelia has 1 American bomber in it. There's 1 American infantry guy marching through Libya. There are no Chinese units. In the Pacific, there is still a sub in C-Zone 46. The Hawaiian Islands have 4 infantry and 2 fighters on the island. Excuse me. C-Zone 56 has a battleship, a carrier, 2 fighters, 2 destroyers, 2 transports. The Western United States has an AA gun in it, and 3 infantry units. Please check your scorecards and make sure that that is correct. And at the end of, if that is all correct, then at the end of round 3, which is where we are now, we are tied in the victory city count 9-9. If I'm counting correctly, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8. No, we are in the lead.
Yeah, we're up. We're up.
We're up. So if you guys would like to call the game now, that's cool with us. No? You guys want to press on? I guess we should probably press on. Oh, look out now. Loss of the U.S. Bomber Command means world drops to -135. We're still, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're making progress. All right.
Not much progress, but some.
Not a lot of progress, but we are getting there. All right, so that is US3. Pretty good turn for us, I think. All told.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't, what more could we have asked for? Another hit in C-Zone 13. I mean, we got 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Or, well, I guess 5 dice rolled, but 3 out of 3 battles we hit something in, so can't complain.
I'm pretty happy with that. Okay,
yeah.
So Japan. That takes us over to Japan. Welcome to round 4, my friends.
Oh man,
where the fun never ends.
Like I mentioned this to Gary earlier, just for the benefit of the world. I looked at this just a little bit before we left on vacation. I looked at it a little bit earlier today, and Japan has a lot of options in my mind. I mean, I'm sure some better than others. So I think I like most of the build that we talked about. I think one thing that we need to decide before we do the build is, so currently I have 3 tanks, 1 transport, 1 infantry, and then either a bomber and save 2 or a fighter and save 4. I think the question is, I mean, it sure would be nice to have a few more land units in Asia. So do we want to hit Brio this round? We can come in with a guy from Manchuria, a infantry, and an armor from French Indochina. If we do that, it leaves our transport in 62. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we could just go in with a land unit from Manchuria and then air, hoping they don't hit us twice. We saw how that worked for the Americans.
I actually prefer that to sending a transport that direction.
You prefer?
So I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sold on hitting Brio this turn. I like the idea of non-combating here. letting them step down and then counterattacking. Because we can, it'll be easier to kill that guy when we have more land units. Rather than risking a fighter now, we can go at them with land units that we move in later. So if it's me, I'm probably bringing this tank down to take Yunnan, and then I'm sending these tanks over with one transport with the 2 guys, right? And then I'm using this transport to grab this dude and end in the East Indies.
Yeah.
With the 2 tanks and a transport, so that when these guys are here, then they can move the 2 transports, 2 guys, 2 tanks someplace else.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, I'm on board with all that, but it leaves us this transport in C Zone 36. We talked about going to the Philippines, getting those 2 guys, taking them into Shanghai. But I guess I'm just like, if we're evacuating the Philippines, we're basically saying our fleet is going to defend against America, which is fine. So if our fleet is defending against America, I mean, do we need these guys in Australia, or can we take them as well?
I mean, there's one transport here.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, this transport could take some guys as well, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could take an infantry and an artillery and put them in India this round as well. We just have to cover 35 because the British fighter can get there. I'm sure the German 1, 2, 3, 4, the Russian bomber can get there also. So I don't want to leave exposed transports in 35.
Yeah. I mean, this transport could also take Madagascar this turn.
Yeah, I thought about that too. If we took 2 guys, we could land in Madagascar. The next round, we could land them in Rhodesia, which would be J5, and then on J6 they could take Belgian Congo and South Africa and pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right. I will say that if we're going to send this transport across, I don't want to send it without a tank, because the tank is going to be able to go, right? And we talked about like that J6 condition.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have a tank he can get this round.
Right. So that's why I'm saying it's here at the end of J4.
New Guinea to 38.
And then 6.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this transport could take New Zealand this turn.
Yeah, that thought crossed my mind.
Just
1, 2, 3.
Go all Sauron on the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, am I going to protect it, or are we going to let that sub just kill it? Like, then I'm going to have a battleship technically could get there with a couple of fighters to 42. Like, if we lose by 1 point, you can fuss at me later, but I don't know that it's worth it.
Right.
Okay, so I guess the question is, do I build an infantry and a tank in Japan because I'm going to have a transport in 61? Is really the question.
Right.
Everything else makes sense to me.
Right, because then that guy in that tank
we can pick him up in 62, land him in Briotia or Manchuria. Yeah.
As needed. Right.
Okay.
And eliminate those guys for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Okay, so 1 transport, 1 infantry, 3 tanks is 25, and a bomber is 37. I have 39, so I'm saving 2. Oh, what did America gain? They're up.
Oh, this should be a 40.
Plus 40, yeah. Let's not forget that. Okay. So if we hold on. This I remember now why I don't like ceding Manchuria, because Russia can step into Qinghai and Manchuria and get China another guy. So then we're going into Manchuria against 3 guys, or we're going into Qinghai against 4 guys. If I don't kill the guys in Briatia, I have to take Yunnan, and then we would lose those other 2 and get more Chinese in the game.
Right. So, but when you do that, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 infantry plus the tank plus the air units to be able to take out what will essentially be 3 infantry.
And if they put it in Qinghai, I have nothing that can get to it.
Okay. I mean, I didn't ever plan to keep the Chinese dead for the entire game.
Yeah. I'm just processing out loud for the benefit of the live stream.
Sure. So this is 15, 22, 34, 37. We have 39.
Yeah.
So that saves 2. Is there anything else that we could do with that? I don't really think so.
No, yeah. I mean,
I'm fine to save the 2.
I'm okay.
I mean,
we're
about to pick up some additional money, so
yeah. Okay, so the tank from Qinghai will come back and pick up Yunnan.
right.
I think I'm inclined to send 1 tank into India. I don't want a bunch of airplanes blowing my tanks up. Do you have any concern?
So I'm saying it would be the 2 infantry and both tanks here.
Because I'm taking a transport that way.
Right. You're sending 1 transport this way. That'll move the 2 infantry. The 2 tanks will move through. And then that also gives the ability for J5, J6, if that option should present itself. And somebody asked a question earlier. Yes, we're playing through round 6. Hey, Pino, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So in this fighter, it can go 1, 2, 3, 4, which will stage it to go into this theater.
Yeah. I mean, we could. Is Transjordan the same difference as Egypt? Because I can get one from a carrier in 36 to Egypt.
Yeah, it's the same. Well, this fighter, 1, 2, 3, 4. Assuming Persia still belongs to... And if they want to land Russian fighters here, I'm perfectly fine with that.
In Persia?
Yeah, sure. Because there'll be 2 infantry, 2 tanks, and enough air power to kill whatever's there.
Yeah.
Plus, whatever's in this space could also land in Persia. If we really wanted it to.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to end up with too many transports between C Zone 35 and 38.
So if you grab the one guy here...
Yeah, a transport from 35 can move to 38 and back to 35 and drop 2 units. I'm building a transport.
Be able to get over to Africa.
Well, I don't think we need 4. I mean, we only need 1 tank to land in Anglo-Egypt, then drive to French Equatorial and French West Africa. If the other transport, remember, was going to 30, I mean, we have 4 transports that can go to Africa. We don't need that many, right?
Right. I would be sending 2.
So 2. So you're proposing taking the 4 land units that are in India and taking them all to Africa, and then taking the 4 land units that are in East Indies and.
No. So what I'm saying is J4, which is where we are now.
Yep.
We got ourselves a new member. Thanks for joining us. is to send one transport, the 2 tanks with the 2. So you have 2 infantry, 2 tanks here. This transport's going to go up, get the guy from New Guinea, bring him back to East Indies.
Yeah.
We're going to drop 2 tanks.
Yep.
And
a transport in
here,
38.
which is
Yeah.
in 38. This gives us 2 guys, 2 tanks.
Yeah.
That's the end of J4. J5, they can land here. I realize that we're laying out our game plan here for the world to see, but this is the nature of how this particular game is going to work. So they can go from 38 to 34. They land an infantry and a tank, an infantry and a tank. That's the end of J5. J6, infantry walks to Belgian Congo, tank to French West Africa, tank to South Africa.
Yeah, South
Transport
Africa,
sends the last 1 infantry, walks to French Madagascar, or uses the transport to get to French Madagascar. This transport that's here can move, if it needs to clear Egypt for this American infantry that's decided to go on holiday, they can go that way. Or they can be used as part of an amphibious assault into Persia with the battleship from 34, or probably, the battleship from 34. And I like what you were talking about before in reconsolidating this fleet in 35 to put enough pressure on the Hawaiian Islands that they either have to continue to shuttle guys and fighters there and spend money on this side versus trying to send anything else over to Paris or Berlin, right? And to dissuade them from trying to make any kind of run at Manila, because you're right, there won't be anybody in it.
Yeah.
And we're there now with a destroyer, 3 carriers, 6 fighters. I mean, at that point, we're a threat to the fleet as it sits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, America's
They've got to send a blocker down. They got to send a destroyer down here just to stop us from rolling in and blowing up and taking San Francisco. So yeah, I think this transport does grab a guy in an artillery from here and brings him back to the Carolina Islands. Just so that there's something, so that they'll have something to carry. But I mean, 6 fighters and an infantry and artillery with an offshore shot from the battleship into what's here. If it's for the game, yeah, I'm rolling those dice.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And maybe this bomber's out in the Carolina Islands too. Probably.
Yeah, I think the bomber goes that way for sure.
So we're looking at a purchase of.
Yeah, we got a guy and a transport, 3 tanks and a bomber.
Okay.
I think the purchase is locked in. We're going to move the tank from Shanghai to Yunnan. I agree with that.
Moving into combat.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. It was a foregone conclusion that we're in combat in my mind. I was agreeing
you're doing
with
great.
all that.
I'm talking through it so that when I have to rebuild this later to make the whole video, I can know where things are going. Okay, so he's moving there. Next combat.
The tanks are moving
into
from
Calcutta?
French Indo into Calcutta, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then 1 transport to 35.
I think that's the only thing. I mean, I guess we have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to take something to escort the transport, which is what I don't love.
Actually, you know what? This battleship could do it.
Yeah, from 39. Yeah.
Right. So this battleship can come up here. And then can this bomber, that fighter can't do anything. 1, 2, 3, 4. This bomber, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't, because we'll have 2 naked transports here at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
This sub can do it. This sub can go 1, 2 and kill them.
Yeah. So what if we just march the infantry to Burma?
If we do
'Cause
that, then these infantry won't be able to make caucuses by J6. And if we're going to do that, then if these guys aren't going to go that way, then one of those infantry should instead step into Yunnan.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to? Can the Italians help at all?
The Italians could move something into C Zone 38 to help defend. You can move your battleship there. But, I mean, why wouldn't you move into C Zone 14 and retake Libya?
Right.
I mean, I guess you can technically do both.
Right. Right. And I mean, in theory, the Italians could build a destroyer if they really felt froggy, but I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I could build a destroyer in East Indies and forgo the infantry and the tank in Japan.
Yeah, but I think you're right. We're going to need it to kill this dude up here.
Yeah.
The Buryateans,
I mean,
if that's the
I'll
right
have
word.
3 infantry in Kiangsu.
I mean, what happens if
A
this
bomber.
carrier comes over? If the carrier from 36 comes into 35, this fleet up here is now a battleship, 3 carriers, a destroyer.
It'll be 2 carriers then.
Right. And if we need to build one next time, we build one next time.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's got a 23 attack coming into 51. I mean, we would have a 26 defense.
You want to
We could
join
put
up in
ourselves
50?
in 50 and maybe even 48 or something.
48 might be a good option because that still puts pressure on Hawaii. And
yeah.
The only downside is this group can't get to 48 this turn.
No, they could move to 50 though. I mean, a sub and 2 fighters can hit it. 8 attack against a.
No, there's 4 fighters can get there. Oh no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, sub and 2 fighters could get to both 48 and 50.
Right, you're right.
Um,
So the fleet in 48 would have to have the battleship with it.
Yeah, and the fleet in 50 would have the destroyer.
Right.
So it's a 14 defense and a 12 defense against
right.
8 attack.
And then we're going to have the bomber can move out to Manila. We're going to have another bomber in Japan. So if they decide to come to the Caroline Islands or even 46,
yeah,
like we can kill them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6. Right. So I don't think they're coming out.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So it's the carrier and the fighters. We could send one of the fighters that way, or we can send both of these fighters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring this fighter down to 35. I like that.
I think we should keep 2 fighters in 35. I mean,
okay.
I don't know how desperate the Allies will get, but I mean, if they send the Russian bomber down there and hit us, you either have to leave the transport untended and land the fighter in India, or lose the fighter and keep the carrier, and then the British guy in Persia comes in and cleans up.
Well, that assumes that this British fighter is still alive. The Germans are going to have something to say about that.
You don't think Russia's going to protect him some way?
Yeah, they might. I mean, these tanks may be coming down here. I have no idea.
Yeah. That's why I like our counter punch potential.
Yeah. And the fighters here would certainly help.
So,
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, all of this is based around the fact that we want to have a hit to the Caucasus. If we move a transport to 37, we don't have to protect 35. J5, it can go 35, 34. J6, it can go 15, 16, and we can hit the Caucasus if we want. So we don't need a transport in 35. We just need it in 37, right?
So you're suggesting this?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Yeah, it just takes all of
then
this.
The transport's got to come up. Is going to carry them to Persia?
Yeah, it could. Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Britain does with its fighter, what Russia does with its stuff. But yeah, we could hit Persia from 38 and 37, or we can hit Africa in 34. We have choices either way.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I can look at this. The only thing that sucks here is if the Russians decide to swing down here and try to kill these.
Well, let's just move one tank into India then. If they want to take a crack at them, let them. We have 2 tanks, 2 infantry. We'll have 4 tanks and 4 infantry coming straight back to Kolkata next round. And if they want to take a 50-50 shot with an airplane against our tank, let them.
Yeah, no, I'd rather them shoot at 2 tanks than 1. So I'm fine with how that is right there. I will say I think I'm out of Japanese markers. That's I suppose that's a good problem to have if you're Japan.
Yeah. Okay, that's 40. The sub in 46 cannot get to 37.
No.
Okay, let's do that. So non-combat, right? 2 guys going to Burma.
Right.
From French Indo. Transport from 36 to 37. Transport from 36 goes to 50, picks up the guys from the Philippines, moves them to Shanghai. Transport from 39
to 48.
Yeah, to 48 to New Guinea, moves to 38, drops the guy in the East Indies. Should the transport from 36 go to Borneo and get that guy and put him in Burma?
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So he'll pick up the dude in Borneo.
Yeah, in Borneo.
Bring him up to Burma.
Okay.
I like it.
So...
Okay. And so what are we doing with this carrier in 36? This battleship's coming up to 38.
Our battleship's going to 38. That frees the Italian battleship to go bombard Libya.
Right.
Okay, let me think about this. If we move the fleet in 62 down to 50, if we move the fleet in 47 to 48, grab the guy off the Solomon Islands and bring him to New Guinea.
Okay, we can if you want.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's okay with me. It saves us, in the event that a random transport decides to make a run at Australia, I'd rather have some guys there than not have them there. So, and I don't care if they take the Solomon or not.
Exactly. Should we take the artillery with us? Should we take the artillery from Australia with us to New Guinea?
Yes.
I think so.
So this transport's moving from Australia to 46, grabbing this infantry, and then moving over to New Guinea. It, of course, was
Yep.
escorted the whole time.
Yes. Okay, so this would leave the carrier in 36. I think we fly one fighter to Egypt. Or do you want? Yeah, I don't. I guess it depends on what you're going to do in Transjordan. I'm happy to put him there because there's stuff, but
No, I think
um,
Egypt is better because then if they decide to come down with these fighters, then they can't do anything silly over here.
yeah,
So I think if you want to bring, you said one of these guys,
yeah,
3, 4 to Egypt,
4.
and then, or is it this guy? 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't reach. And then the Sikang fighter, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to bring them into 50?
I'm thinking either 50 or 38.
I don't think we need them down here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 38, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 38. They could. I don't think. Yeah, India. We won't lose any. Yeah, let's move them to 50 then. With our other carrier.
All right, so and now 62 down to 50?
Yeah.
With the destroyer.
With the destroyer, yes.
And the bomber to Manila? Actually, I think I like the bomber in Burma. Because it's a counterpunch into Persia if these tanks come down.
That's true.
Because if they decide to try to save this fighter by sending 3 tanks and 2 fighters down here, like I want an opportunity to kill them all.
Yeah, that's true. We could, if we could annihilate all that German stuff.
Right. So we'd be getting there with what? 4 infantry, 4 tanks, and a bomber. Because we're moving all of our air power out of that theater. Oh, I suppose this fighter could get there. It would be doubling back, but it could get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah.
I just like the bomber to be able to hit C-Zone 53. Is there a place we can put it where it can do...
But the bomber that you're building will be able to do that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering if both. If it's in Borneo... What if it's in Borneo? It could go...
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can get there from Borneo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I mean, if it lands in, is it any better in French Indochina? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, maybe French Indochina is the right spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That can't go anywhere. 1, 2, okay.
I don't care where it is on the board. When I see a transport by itself in 61 and 37 and a bomber by itself in French Indochina, I'm like, is this the right move?
I know. It is a little nerve-wracking. But this bomber can't get there. These fighters can't get to 61. This sub could make it to 38, but he'd have to hit twice before we hit back once. So I don't like that option. The sub and the fighters can, 2 fighters can get here. Same thing here. They can't get to 61. Is this fighter in any danger? I don't really think so. I think this is... Oh, this guy needs to move out.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because it's 2-on-1 plus the bomber can get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if they want to put the bomber out there, I'm all for it. But I'd rather come back with a full punch. I want to invite them down so that they're in range of everything that can hit them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
The only downside is if they split this and they go one guy.
Yeah, that's why I like leaving him there, because it forces him to come in with 2.
I mean, they're still favored, but not by as much.
Yeah, I think it's like 75% 2-on-1, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it's a little less than that, but yeah. We were
Yeah.
I remember in our early videos we were saying that it was a 75%, but somebody corrected me and it was like 64% or something like that.
Yeah,
So.
I'll take a 64%. I mean, we hit one of them, and then when we come in with 4 land units in air, I mean, we've got bombers and fighters that can get there. Okay, so we feel our Navy's safe. We got, again, they can attack us with 8 in Season 48. I feel like I like our odds.
Mm-hmm.
They can hit us with a submarine in Season 38. Similarly, I like our odds.
We're picking up 4 IPCs.
Picking up 4 IPCs.
Which will take us to 43. We saved 2. That'll give us 45 for the next turn.
Yeah. What is the percent chance of them blowing our fleet up in 38? That would be pretty devastating.
It's pretty low. I mean, they'd have to hit twice on a 2 before we could hit once on a 2. On a 4, rather.
Yeah. Do we move the carrier from 36 to 38 instead?
Why?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's fine. If they want to send that sub on a wild, I love it. I'll take that bet every day.
Okay.
I am a little sad that we weren't able to steal this AA gun in Kazakh.
Yeah.
But it just loses the tank.
Yeah. I was thinking there was an earlier version of Axis and Allies where you could blitz through an AA gun. Am I making that up?
I don't remember that.
I didn't. Yeah, maybe not. I was thinking maybe I don't know. I haven't played Classic in 30 years, so who knows? Okay, I like it.
I like it. Any questions from the world about anything that needs to be verified here? So for clarity, we're gonna mobilize here. We're gonna put 2 tanks in Borneo or in what's that? East Indies.
East Indies.
And the transport in East Indies.
Do we put the bomber in East Indies as well? 1, 2, 3. Same space as the 56. Actually, I think I like it in Tokyo because it can hit Russia up north if it needs to. Yeah. Okay.
So this is the infantry and the tank and the bomber into Tokyo.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any questions out there? Apparently Dave Whitfield needs wood. I can't help you with that, sir. It's not that kind of show. But there apparently there's a need for wheat and sheep in New Zealand. Yes, they could use some additional fortifications down there in New Zealand. There's no doubt about that. They're just looking a little grim for them. Okay, so quick recap of where Japan's units are moving east to west. There is a Japanese fighter in Egypt. Moving to the east, we have 2 tanks and control of Calcutta. In Yunnan, we have 1 tank. In Burma, there are 3 infantry. C-Zone 37 has 1 transport. C-Zone 38 has 2 transports and a battleship. The East Indies has 2 infantry and 2 tanks and an industrial complex. French Indochina has 1 bomber. Shanghai has 2 infantry. Manchuria has 1 infantry. C-Zone 61 has 1 transport in it. C-Zone 50 has 2 carriers, 4 fighters, and a destroyer. New Guinea has an infantry and an artillery in it. C-Zone 48 has a battleship, a transport, a carrier with 2 fighters on it. And Australia has 3 infantry and an AA gun. Iwo Jima has 1 infantry. Wake Island still has 1 infantry on it. The Solomons and the Caroline Islands and Okinawa have no units. Tokyo has a bomber, an infantry, and 1 tank, and an AA gun, and of course, an industrial complex. Did I miss anything? Yes. So the UK abandoned Calcutta. They had 2 infantry and a fighter in Persia. The Italians attacked those units. They also evacuated this AA gun that's in Persia, which is why there wasn't anything in Calcutta when we rolled in. So yeah. So that's why there wasn't anything in India, because the UK backed it out, which was, I think, was the right thing to do. Otherwise, we were going to land there with a ton. All right. So any other questions from the world about the board state at the end of J4? Man, we're moving right along in this game. Okay. This guy, 3 infantry in Burma. And I think that's it. I think that is where we are. Yeah?
Yes.
Which is going to take us to USSR 4. And the victory city count has continued to swing in the direction of the Axis. So now the score, what do you guys got? 2, 4, 6, 7. Yep. 11-7. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems like a lot. It does seem like a lot, but we're going to come into some chaos here in a second. We'll see how it plays out. So the Russians now, boy, let's think about what the Russians can do here for a minute. If they want to try to send these tanks down here, they can do that. They can send the tanks into China to try to get China back into the game. Certainly these guys are going to walk into Qinghai. It'll be interesting to see how many tanks they want to, if any, they want to contribute to that effort. These fighters, 1, 2, 3, 4, could, in theory, try to take out these tanks. I don't know that I love that move, particularly because it's going to put them in range of these 3 transports and a bunch of land units and a bomber that could get there, and a fighter that could get there. I think they're more likely to take a big step into Stalingrad, eastern Ukraine. I would be very surprised if a tank didn't blitz through. I mean, honestly, if it's me, here's what I do. I take these tanks, I blitz through, and I pick up all that money. And I kill this guy in eastern Ukraine, I kill this guy in Caucasus. That's probably what I would do. But I drink a lot during the day, and you guys have been wily. So, all right, Douglas, what do you think? Anything else?
No.
All right. How much money do the Russians start with?
The Russians
12?
start with $0. They invested it all in India, and it went south for them.
How many rubles do they have? They may not have any dollars. I think they have some rubles.
5.
5 rubles.
They have 20. They have 25.
Okay.
And Japan gained 43 save 2, so we have 45.
Okay. Excellent. All right. All right. All right. So we're back up here. Let's come up here. Boom. All right. If you are enjoying the live stream, please take a second and hit that like button for us. We really do appreciate that. I know that it sounds silly, but it does make a big difference for us. Thank you, of course, again to Mr. Doug Friend for sending us that fantastic and well used and quite lucky dice box for us. So we do definitely appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel and supporting the effort. Again, please take a second, hit that like button for us. We really, really appreciate it. We will be back on Sunday night for Russia, USSR 4 and Germany 4. So we'll be looking forward to that. Ooh. We're almost there, my friends. Charles, I like it. Thank you very much, sir.
Big.
Okay, so we had a big one here a moment ago. Who was it that dropped us with 20? Oh my God, Raj Patel. Raj, welcome, sir. This is the first time we're seeing your name on here. We really appreciate that. I'm not going to try to pull all of these onto the screen here, but welcome to Chris C., Dustin Salinas, Jason Brown, Jay Cole, Sean Shoes, Dar Hoth, Ways of the Blackbird, Michael Rice, Andrew Ramsdell, William Nutzel, Thomas Heinen, Spark63, Pete M, Thought Donor Radio, Foswell, Matt Dog. Holy cow, there's like 20 of them. Matt Dog and Paul Margrave. We really, really appreciate you guys, Raj, for your support. That is very, very kind of you, sir. And we look forward to adding all of those fine folks to our membership. That is fantastic. Once again, thank you to Robin for being our commander of the day. We appreciate you submitting those orders. We appreciate that. And the Russians are driving to Paris. That'd be a bad day if you're German. That's for sure. No, Raj, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. That is very, very kind of you. We came into the day, last I looked at it, I think we were about 130, 132. This is going to put us up about 150. That is amazing. We really appreciate that. Time for a drawing. I promised a giveaway, and we have, I know, after all that, now we got to think about giveaways. All right, so we've got a couple of very cool things here, and let me see. I made a post about this like right before I went on vacation. Doug sent a bunch of pictures, or he sent stuff, and I took pictures of it that we wanted to get into the live stream. Let me see. What if I just do this? Hey, that works, sort of.
This is the other Doug, by the way.
Yes, Doug Friend. Yes. I don't know, maybe he did. Okay, so we got a bunch of really fun things from Doug Friend. So if you were one of the many that thought that the UK Scout cars in North Africa were not to your satisfaction, I knew that this was going to happen, that the market would take care of this, and so they have. We have 2 sets, I believe, of the UK Scout cars to give away, and these are actually much more representative, I think, of the Scout cars that were used in the actual conflict. So I think those are pretty cool. We also have a set of French units, which is pretty cool. And here's one of the things that I think are cool about the sets that Doug Friend sent. All of the infantry units have some kind of commander with them. So like cool. If you wanted to, you could just count this as a regular guy, or you can make up your own house rule as to like which one you want here. And there's French trucks, which look like bread trucks, which makes sense to me. What else we got? More Scout cars, I think, from a different angle. Pretty cool. And we got a bunch of all kinds of. We got two full sets of Italian pieces, which I think turned out really well. And I really like the mines in these. Like these are the sea mines. These are the land mines. These are, I think, much cooler than the regular chits. And their tanks, or their trucks rather, are different as well. And they get the Scout cars that are the different kinds. And I think this is actually very, very cool. So I think these turned out really nicely. Here's a close-up of the mines. I think the mines look really cool. Right?
Yeah, I really like those mines a lot.
Yeah, those turned out really well. And these are different artillery units as well than we normally see in the game. They came with the Renegade version of the game, so that's pretty cool. And even the infantry units, I think, turned out really, really nicely. I think that's really cool. So kudos to Doug Friend for making some really cool stuff. All right, and
I like the AA guns; those are pretty sweet.
Right. All right, so glory shot here. These are all of the pieces. I think these turned out really, really cool. All right, so we're going to give away. Let's go with a set of the scout cars, a set of the Italian pieces, and the French units to one fine feathered friend. And we'll also give away, so we'll do that as one giveaway, and then we'll do another giveaway that is a set of the, let me come back to this shot. Hold on, let me fix this. Bump. Bump. Get rid of those. Hey, we're back. So the first giveaway will be a full set of the Italian pieces, a full set of the French pieces, and a set of the UK Scout cars. And then we'll do a second giveaway that is a set of the Italian pieces and then one set of the Scout cars. Yeah? Pretty cool? Pretty cool? Pretty cool? Yeah? All right. Yes. You're right. So it's the LRDG trucks, the long range. Oh, I shouldn't have started it. Now I can't remember the rest of it. It's a long range.
Drive good trucks. That's what they are.
Right. I think it's long range desert group. I think that's what it is. Long range desert group. I think that is what it is. Robin, you can't have my Lord of the Risk game. Stop it. Lord of the Rings Risk game. You can't have it.
Lord of the Risk.
Lord of the Risk. All right. So let me get this back up here and try to get all the ads off of here. All right. All right. So we're going back to the screen. Let me see if I can make sure that I hit the right one here. Boom. All right. Look at that. I like it when a plan comes together. Sort of. We're a little askew, but that's all right. It works out. We've been on vacation. Cut me some slack here. All right. Doug coming in. All right. All right. So first we'll do the set of Italian troops and the UK troops, or the scout cars. So here we go. Drum roll. I'm hitting the wrong one. Spin. Spin. There we go. A full set of Italian pieces for North Africa, as well as a set of UK Scout cars going to our friend and yours, Murnook. Hey, all right. We do. Murnook is a good friend. He's been on the show many times. We really appreciate his support. Yay. All right, cool. So, again, remember, if you are winning a prize, thank you, David. It is, in fact, Long Range Desert Group. If you are winning a prize, reach out to me through the Discord server. Send me a message so that I can get your address so that we know where to send all of these fantastic prizes. We have not heard from our friend that won the 1914 map, the big rollout map. So that is back in circulation. So, but we're going to save that one for next week. But here is this is going to our friend Murnook. We are going to need a street address to send those to. Next up, we're going to remove hide input. There you go, hide input. All right, look at there. Add a prize, spin again. Oh boy, we'll see. All right, so now we have the set of Italian pieces, the set of French pieces, which I think are pretty cool, and a set of UK Scout cars, which are actual LRDG models, which are pretty cool. Oh, and this other piece that's in here is actually a round counter. Instead of the little marker that came with the game, it actually has kind of a, I think it's a train.
Looks like a train.
Yeah, I think it's like a train. I assume that it's accurate to the game. I'm not 100% sure. A lot of trains in North Africa, I would imagine. I have no idea.
That's right.
Probably. All right. So for the rest of the North Africa fun, boom, we're spinning. We're spinning, friends. Here we're spinning. We're looking for historical board gaming. Our friends over there. Whoosh. Imperator Epsilon. Excellent. Congratulations. We are. I don't know, David. I'm not sure why it's a train. I'll have to ask Doug Friend. I'm sure he'll have some explanation for it. But that's what it is. So if you are Imperator Epsilon, please reach out to us either through the Discord server or through Facebook, and you'll be able to add these to your collection. So fantastic. Congratulations to Mernuk and Epsilon for being thank you for being members, and we will make sure that you get those things as soon as you contact us. We will appreciate and make sure that you get those items. Well, fantastic. Well, this has been a pretty good show. Big news. Go ahead. You got something to say there, Douglas? I can tell.
I was hoping we'd get to less than negative 100, but we didn't quite make it. So, but I felt like it was a good round.
Hey, I think we started at like minus 800 or something silly, like to end at 105. Like, dude,
okay.
like we're.
I don't remember
bombers,
where we were, to be honest. Yeah. That was great.
Was big. That's going to take a lot of pressure off of Paris and the Germans. I mean, that's where all the pain has fallen in this game so far, is in the Germans, and so we'll do our best to try to stay alive over here while the Japanese just run roughshod over the Pacific and the subcontinent and China and
yeah.
And so I'm over here begging for air support. Send me some fighters, brother. Send me some fighters. It's not going great. But yeah, so big news, man. Mark your calendars, November 7th, 8th, and 9th for Battlefront Dayton. I'm super excited about it. We worked really hard on this already, and there's lots more to do. You'll notice some my eagle-eyed viewers here probably noticed that Doug's got himself a shiny new microphone. I hope that his audio was better today. Please let us know if that was the case. We certainly try to make the show a little better every time. And
that's right.
Sometimes we succeed, and sometimes we still have massive amounts of lag for reasons passing understanding. We don't seem to have any control over. But all right, so no complaints about the line, Doug. Charles is like, he's trying to put his foot down. I don't know. This is Vegas odds. I can't help you. All right, so again, Dayton, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. More information to come. We'll have pricing. We'll have the room block. We'll have the ability to register for the actual events. We're going to have that in the next probably week and a half, so that people can start making their plans. We are, again, first ever qualifier for the Access Knowledge World Championship at Gen Con. Again, to be really clear, you do not have to play in our event to play in the World Championships events at Gen Con. But if you win our event, then you are guaranteed a seat there. So it certainly is helpful. So you don't have to be sitting there, when the tickets go on sale. And Larry Harris is going to be there. We are going to be premiering a brand new mystery diplomacy game that's not what it will officially be called, but that's all we can tell you about it now, is that it is a mystery diplomacy game. And we're going to have the first triathlon for diplomacy. We're going to play the original game. We're going to play Era of Empire, and then we're going to play this new mystery game, which is super exciting. We've got a couple of game designers there that are going to be coming, which we're really excited about. Imperial Borders will be played there. War Room will almost certainly be played there. The Young Grasshopper version is definitely going to be played there. The BBR version is almost certainly going to be played there. We're still, if you know anybody that might be interested in hosting that game, please have them reach out to me or to Jon Bosch to set that up for us. We're still looking for kind of a champion in that space, and we're really excited about how that's going to work. getting charges illegal. No. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty great event. I'm really excited about it. And our tickets are going to be limited. We did not choose a large property because it's our first time, and we want to make sure that we're able to execute on the small plan first. And if we're able to do that, then we will look at bigger events in the future. And that may include spring. So if we absolutely blow the doors off and sell these tickets out for Dayton very quickly, then we may immediately start looking for another location to hold another event in the spring, and which I think would be exciting. So we're excited about all that. Awesome. So again, take a second, hit that like button for us. We really appreciate it. Man, Raj, thank you very much for the 20 memberships. That is absolutely astounding. Thank you very, very much, sir. And thank you for everybody coming out and the comments and voting in the poll. Make sure that you're voting in the poll. And the commanders for putting together their orders. And of course, the lovely and talented Mr. Doug Thorpe for being a fantastic partner and coming back from vacation to conduct battle here in the Pacific.
Yes.
Any other thoughts, questions, comments, things you want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
All right. Yes. I would love to. I want to go to Australia and New Zealand just to play Axis and Allies. Let's take a trip. Let's make it that. Let's make a trip. All right. Yes, that's kind of the thought, Dave. 200 is a good number to start with, enough to be interesting, but not so large that it's a huge financial commitment on our part. So that's awesome. So, guys, that is our show for today. We have had a great time. We are looking forward to seeing what the commanders come up with for Soviet's fourth turn, and then we will, of course, reply in kind with the Germans' reply. Commanders, give me a couple of minutes to update the sheet so that we can have all of that ready for you guys to do the next thing. And we will have the poll out tomorrow night at 7 for the Sunday night live stream at 7 o'clock on Sunday. And we are planning to play this all the way through. If I've done the calculations correctly and we were able to execute every show Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, then the finality will be April 18th is the current plan, which is just a few weeks away. This is actually playing a lot faster than I thought it was going to. So, which is awesome. So we're excited about it. All right. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. We've had a great show and lots of great comments. And thank you, Doug.
Yeah, it was good. It was a fun one.
All right, brother. All right. We will see you all Sunday night. Thanks for being here. Good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.